What is up, y'all? Welcome to Yapping with Jelly. Um, I'm Jelly. It's nice to meet you. Thank you for being here today. I don't exactly know what I want to talk about. I mean, the last few things that have been on my mind recently is that I really want to improve my positivity in the way of how do I sometimes I'm not very good with words. Like, I know what I want to say, but it's forming the right words and trying to put the correct words in the right sentence to then get it out. You know what I mean? Um, I say quite a lot that English is not my strong suit, but I only speak English. I don't have another language that I speak, so I don't know if I can really blame that. Anyways, yeah, I really want to try and so I had well, okay. Oh, it's one of those days today, I think. So I have noticed that I've had quite a negative outlook on a lot of things. And I will dwell on a lot of the negative things. And I realized that was impacting my life a lot and I didn't like it. And I was like, why am I doing this to myself? No one else can change that, only I can change that. So what I have tried doing is to try and always look at the positives. Um, and it started with me trying to, if my friend or someone came to me and they were complaining about something and they're like, it's really not going well, I would always try and make them feel better. So I would always try and find the positivity of the situation for them and try and bring them up a little bit. And then I was kind of like, why am I not doing that for myself? So while I do still do it for everybody else as well, I've then gone, why don't I practice what I preach and actually do that for the situations that I'm in or for, the stuff that happens. So I've always tried to now, well, I'm learning to try and always find the positive side of things or like the silver lining of things. And if I can't find it in that moment, then I will do something that will make me happy. So, like, even if I've had the shittest day at work and just everything's gone wrong, when you have those days and you're like, I am so done with this, afterwards and after I finish work, I am going to blast my music in the car home that I know is going to put me in a good mood so that when I come home, I am in a better mood and I am happier. And it has made such a difference and such an impact so far, and I've only like just started, and I'm really trying to like help the people around me do that as well. And because it I feel like so many people have such a negative outlook on things. And, it's fair. There's shit going on all the time. But we can't always, like, oh, I just lost it. It was really good in my head, and now it's just gone. You can't always change the experiences around you, but you can change how you react to them. So if say in a like I work in customer service, if I've got a customer who's, you know, yelling at me or they've been a bit of a Karen and they're just having a bad day and they're going off and something's not going right and they're blaming me for it even though it's nothing to do with me. What I've also found in those kind of situations is that it's actually, unless I've obviously done something, then yeah, it's going to be my fault. But if it's something like the returns policy, I don't have control over that. So it's not actually my fault. They're not taking it out on me. They are just having a bad day. They're unresolved in their emotions and they're lashing out at someone who's, it literally isn't their fault. So that's not a reflection on me, that's a reflection on them. So even while in the moment it's absolutely shit and I'm like fucking shaking and they're just going off and I'm trying my best to de-escalate the situation, after they've left and I've calmed down, I've kind of laughed about it and gone, well, I hope that they have a better day because that wasn't on me. I did everything in my power to help them and to, try and calm down the situation. Yelling back at them was not going to do me any favors. It was not going to help the situation at all. Me getting angry over something that was out of my control is not going to help anyone and it's not going to help me. But if I stay calm and if I stay kind of like neutral about it, or if, like I still do my job and I still help as much as I can, and then afterwards I then go back on with my regular day life, because what's there to be upset about? What's there to be angry about? Yeah, someone yelled at me. Yeah, it felt like absolute shit. And, I was shaking. But at the end of the day, that's not a reflection on who I am. That's not a reflection on what I can do in my job. That's a reflection on them and how they chose to act out on their emotions. And I am all for showing your emotions. I struggle with that quite a bit sometimes. So I'm all for, expressing your emotions and like letting them out, as long as it is not harmful to other people. I can be mad about something, I can be mad at someone, but I am not going to lash out at them in anger, because that's not going to do anything, that's not going to help anything. But if I calm down about it first and then I go to them in a more calmer, neutral way, and then explain the situation, go, hey, what you did really upset me, hey, that wasn't cool. Can I be angry about it? Can I talk to them in like, not an angry tone, but like a firm tone? Yeah, 100%. But that's going to get across to them a lot more than me just screaming at them. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of people struggle with that sometimes. And like when there is a heated argument, it's so easy to just like lash out and lash back. I did this with my brother not long ago, actually. Him and my mum were arguing, and I inserted myself into the argument. And my brother lashed out at me, and I went back and talked to him. And he's like, don't insert yourself into like something that's not your business. And I was like, you are so correct. And I was like, I really do apologize. I did not know the full story. Um, and I was like, I do that quite a lot. And I insert myself into arguments with my mum and brother. And I'm like, why do I do that? I don't need to do that. It has nothing to do with me. Neither of them had asked my opinion. And I think I like looked back on that and I was like, why do I do that? They're the only people that I normally do it with. Unless it is a situation where you can tell someone needs a little bit of backing up and you do know the full situation, then yeah, step in and yeah, go, hey, maybe not. But if you don't know the full situation, back the fuck out of it. And like, I need to do that too. And just mind your own business. You know what I mean? And then afterwards, like, we talked about it and we were like, cool, like, we're good. And then we were able to like improve the night and get it all back to, neutral and happy again. And while we were emotional in the moment, I actually wasn't quite emotional, he was emotional. Not saying that's a bad thing. I'm trying to explain the story without giving way too much personal information. And he was actually quite mature in the situation in where he walked off, because he was getting quite emotional over it and I was just adding to that. And instead of him lashing out at me, he actually just walked off and went to go cool down by himself. And then I went to approach him to then, like, in a calm manner, then be like, what happened? Like, I know this was not just like a lash out at me or mum for no reason. Like, well, what's happened? And then I got like the full story and whatnot. And then that's when he was kind of like, just back the fuck off. And I was like, you're so right. You're so right. But without that, and without him calming down and walking off on his own to calm himself down before he lashed out, we would not have had that conversation. And I think that is so important in so many situations in everyday life, when it's like, actually, no, I need to take a step back. I need to take a chill. I need to stop and think and assess the whole situation first before we continue. And I think that can be used on so many like negative and not bad situations, but for lack of a better word for it, like a bad situation is to kind of take a little step back and go, okay, let's actually have a look at the full picture. Am I emotional at this person, or am I just emotional at the situation? And then you can be able to go back from there and go, okay, well, yes, my feelings are valid. Yes, obviously I'm reacting to this, but does this person deserve my emotional outburst? Probably not. Does this person actually have any I lost the full word for it. But you know what I mean? And so then I feel like we can then take a step back and be like, okay, no, this person doesn't deserve my emotional outburst in anger. I am angry about it, and I am angry about the situation, but you know what? That situation happened for 2 minutes out of a 24-hour day, out of a one day out of a 365-day year. Like, really, that little situation doesn't actually have that big of an impact on my life. And the bigger I make that situation, the more it's going to affect me. But if I keep that situation just to the 2 minutes that it occurred, it's not really going to affect me that much. I have so many other 2-minute things in my day. A song is like longer than 2 minutes. If I listen to a happy song to counteract those 2 minutes, to make myself feel better after that, I can then carry that positive emotion, or I can stay stuck on those 2 minutes of a bad emotional outburst and carry that with me the entire day and just be miserable the whole day. But I don't want to do that, because there's so many better things to look at. And why am I looking at the miserable side of things? That's just going to make me miserable. You know, and like, the more you focus on the negative emotions and the negative situations in your life, the more negative you're going to be as a person. So I really want to try and focus more on the positive things. And I like, even if out of, say, an hour, only 2 minutes of those are positive and the rest 58 minutes were absolutely shit. I have to check my maths then, I'm so sorry. It's like the little quick maths things that you're like, I know how to add and subtract, and then you second guess yourself. Even if those 58 minutes were absolutely shit, I'm going to move past them, figure it all out, and I'm going to focus on the 2 minutes of that positive interaction, and I'm going to carry that positive emotion to make myself happier and to get myself through the day. Because getting through the day is fucking hard sometimes, you know, and it sucks. But if you look at the positive side of things, it doesn't have to suck. Call me a genius. Anyways, so I wanted to spread that kind of mentality to other people, because I do think it's important, and there's so much negative shit around that like affects people constantly, and the more that we focus on it and the more that we lash out about it, the worse it's just going to get, and the worse that we're going to feel about it. Obviously, you are allowed to feel about it and you are allowed to lash out about it, but you don't need to carry it with you, if that makes sense. I know there's an easier way to explain this, and I know what it is. Like, it's all in my head. I just can't fully get the words out, but I hope that some of it made sense. And I hope at least one person can go away from this and be like, I completely understand where you're coming from. Or even be like, I understood half of what you said. But the main thing that I like kind of wanted to get across and implement in my own life is to focus more on the positives and take that and like, lost the words again. It's one of those days, I swear. Yeah. I feel like I'm explaining the same thing over and over again because I can't find the correct explanation for it. But I hope that it makes sense. So, but yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna go actually start studying now. So I hope you all enjoyed. I hope you kind of understood where I was coming from. Maybe, who knows, let me know. If you have a way that you explain it, or if there's a way that you're kind of like, oh, I've got like a really good metaphor for it, please let me know, comment it, whatever. because I like, yeah. I feel like it helps, and I feel like sometimes explaining it from someone else's point of view also helps get it across. I know I can explain things to someone and they would have no idea what I'm talking about, but they get the same explanation but just in a slightly different words from someone else, and they're like, oh, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. So maybe your explanation will help someone else. You never know. Share it around. Share the love. Um, I said that unseriously, but I'm being really serious about it. Spread the love, spread the positivity. Um, because even if in your, say, in a 2-minute bad interaction that I used before, if you stay positive the whole time to the other person, if it was like a confrontation or whatever, if you stay positive and you tried helping them as best as they could and they went off and they were like, do you know what, that other person was actually really happy, and do you know what, that might make an impact in their life, and that might actually go, do you know what, maybe I can be happy too, or like happiness rubs off and so does sadness. So choose to be the happier version of it. Fake it till you make it, baby. Anyways, I think that's all for me today. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for listening to Yapping with Jelly. Toodaloo.